Hey, I'm glad you're here. And if you clicked on this video, chances are you've asked this question, and maybe even quietly. Is there actual evidence that God exists, or is faith just wishful thinking? Well, first of all, I want you to know something. That's not rebellious. That's not a rebellious question. That's an honest question. And Christianity has never been afraid of honest questions. In fact, the Bible invites examination. In Acts 17:11, it praises people who examine the scriptures daily to see if what Paul said was actually true. God is not intimidated by investigation. So let's walk through this calmly and thoughtfully. First of all, faith is not blind. A lot of people think faith means believe without evidence. But biblically, faith means trust based on reason. In Hebrews 11:1, faith is described as confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Notice it doesn't say imagination. It says assurance. Even Jesus gave evidence. After the resurrection in John 20, he invited Thomas to examine his wounds. Christianity does not begin with shut off your brain. It begins with look closely. So let's start with something that's very simple. The universe had a beginning. For most of history, people believed the universe was eternal. But modern cosmology, through what's commonly called the Big Bang, shows the universe had a starting point. And here's the key principle. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. You don't get something from nothing. If space, time, and matter had a beginning, then the cause must be outside of space and outside of time and outside of matter. That sounds a lot like what Genesis says. In the beginning, God created. God didn't begin within the universe, he caused it. And that's deeply consistent with reason. Now let's talk about design. The universe is incredibly fine-tuned. If gravity were slightly stronger or weaker, life couldn't exist. If the expansion rate of the universe changed slightly, life collapses. Then there's DNA. DNA is coded information. Information does not come from accidents. If you see code, you assume there's a coder. Psalm 19 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God." Creation doesn't whisper randomness, it shouts order. Now, does this prove every detail of Christianity? No. But it strongly suggests intelligence behind the universe. And here's one that hits home for Gen Z. You see, you believe some things are truly wrong. Abuse is wrong. Racism is wrong. Exploitation is wrong. Not just personally disliked, but it's wrong. If what are just chemicals and evolution, morality is just survival instinct. There is no ultimate right. Yet we all live as though real moral laws exist. And you see, laws point to a lawgiver. In Romans 2:15, it says the law is written on our hearts. And that inner sense of justice isn't random, it's reflective. Then there's the resurrection. Now here's where Christianity becomes unique. It doesn't only argue philosophically, it makes a historical claim. Jesus lived, Jesus was crucified, and his tomb was reported empty. The earliest disciples didn't gain power or wealth. They were persecuted and killed for their testimony. People will die for what they believe is true, but they will not die for what they know is a lie. In 1 Corinthians 15, Paul lists eyewitnesses, many still alive at the time of the writing. Christianity rests on a claim that can be examined. If Jesus rose from the dead, God is not a theory. He has revealed himself. You see, at some point, the question, it shifts. It stops being, is there evidence? And it becomes this. What will you do with the evidence? Evidence doesn't force love. It invites response. Jeremiah 29:13 says, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." If God exists, and there are strong reasons to believe he does, then this is not just intellectual, it's relational. So if you're watching this and you've wrestled with doubt, that doesn't disqualify you. It means you're thinking. And I respect that. If this helped, how about subscribe? And if you have questions, drop them below. And if you want more teaching like this, deeper, thoughtful, honest, I'd love to walk through it with you. Faith isn't blind. It's trust based on truth. And truth can handle examination. How about subscribe for more of this steady truth?